And today we will start with one of the most highly touted freshmen in the country. DJ Pickett at LSU was a huge recruit out of the state of Florida. Oregon was in the mix. Miami was in the mix, had family ties there. But at the end of the day, LSU wins that recruitment. At the time was a bit of a surprise when he committed there, stayed committed all the way through, and looks like he's making an early impact.
Yeah, this is a guy who was a 5-star plus according to On3, right? And quoting from Mansour Delane, the Virginia Tech transfer, he says whatever that 5-star plus is, that's true. Pickett is as good as advertised. So I think the thing with Pickett that you got to keep in mind, you look at his, just the reason he was a 5-star plus, right? Coming out of high school in the Tampa area, 6'4", 180, 33.6-inch arms, 10.62, 100 meters, 4 picks, also played wide receiver, 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns as a junior. So the athleticism, you knew about it going in, just watching his high school film, looking at his track time, seeing his size. Most of the people in his family are linemen. He's really the only one that's not a lineman. His cousin, he has a defensive end cousin who's at University of Miami. Cannon Pickett, his other cousin, big physical offensive lineman between Clemson and Miami right now. Maybe some other schools get involved there. All these guys are 4-star type talents, along with the 5-star plus DJ Pickett. So good bloodlines. But with him, you knew the size was legit. You know the speed was legit. Where does he fit? Is he a safety? Is he a corner? But as you see him here working these drills with Coach Raymond, he has shown that he is a corner and has, in fact, made interceptions during team drills that have caught people's eye. We'll see one of them here in a second on the video. But the fact that the physical skills have translated to a position so early really makes you feel good about DJ Pickett sticking at corner, because, if he was awkward at first, that'd be understandable. I think that's what most people expected. And they say, okay, well, he'll learn it. So the fact that he's already kind of ahead of schedule, what's going to happen? He's getting stronger. He's going to keep getting more technically sound, and you're going to have a 6'4", maybe even 6'5" when it's all said and done, 4'3" corner, like a Tariq Woolen for the Seattle Seahawks. I can't even think of too many comps for what he's going to bring to the table, but it's going to be unique. And we just saw
the ball skills as well, because we're talking about what position was he going to play. He could have played wide receiver as well. And I think you've talked about it before. I think you might have liked him a receiver at a certain point, but obviously with the upside, with that length at corner, and you mentioned not too many guys can move at that size the way that he can. You pair that with the ball skills. Like, if he can tighten up on all the little things of the position, as we're already seeing Coach Raymond obviously work with him on that. And to me, going back to kind of the original thing that we talked about here, it's a Mansour Delane who has been around college football, obviously played at Virginia Tech, was a top guy in the portal. And when you see those veterans talk about the young guys like that, it makes you kind of look a little bit closer at it, because these vets don't always like to hype the young guys up too early. So he must be, doing what he's got to do early on and progressing, because it's LSU again. It's a different standard when it comes to that position.
Yeah, you look at Derek Stingley, highest paid corner in NFL history. Where'd he go to school, right? He was covering the highest paid receiver in NFL history. So pretty good practices out there. But with Pickett, he wanted to go to LSU, which people was a surprise. A lot of people thought it was, like you said, Pete, Oregon versus Miami. So when he first came into LSU, that was a bit of a surprise. And then many people expected him to flip before signing day, ended up staying with LSU the whole time. So he wanted to go somewhere where he felt he could be developed. He trusted Coach Raymond to develop him as a corner. So again, you see the early flashes. The tools are beyond question. Now it's time for both him to put in the work on just fine-tuning his technique, getting stronger, not without getting too heavy, and then listening to what his coach has to say, and his coach developing him. Corey Raymond's developed some of the best across the country. So we'll see how that progresses. But I think cornerback, that was really, like you mentioned, some people thought he was a receiver. I actually thought he was a corner always. But some of our friends on the 7-on-7 circuit thought he might have been a receiver long-term. There was some talk about safety. If you can get a guy with this kind of length, with those 33-inch arms and then 4.3 speed, and he can learn the technique needed to play corner, plus the ball skills, which you talked about, Pete, that is hard to beat. right? There's no substitute for length and speed at that position. And this guy's got more of that than any corner in the country last year, and he is showing it on the practice field for the LSU Tigers. And we could see him in 2025 making an impact in the SEC.
And look, we saw Derek Stingley. You mentioned him, the impact that he had as a true freshman on that national championship team. So we'll see. You obviously have that's high aspirations there. It's high, lofty goals, so to speak. But I think he's that sort of talent level. I really do.
Yeah, think about Jakeem Jackson, right? The transfer from Florida. He was always he's from the state of Florida, just like Pickett. He's from more the Orlando area, Pickett more from the Tampa area, but not that far apart. He was always known as kind of a size speed prospect, right? Played some receiver, 6'1", ran a 10.900 meter, and that was good size speed. Is good size speed. That's why he was a 4-star transfer going from Florida to LSU, and someone they're excited about. 6'1", 10.9. Here we're talking about 6'4", 10.6. So just to give you an idea of what this size speed prospect is, it is unusual. I cannot think of a comp other than Tariq Woolen, who went from UTSA to the Seattle Seahawks as a sprinter running 4.3 at 6'4". That's the closest comp I can think, but Pickett's a little ahead of him as far as, Woolen was playing receiver for the first few years of his career. Whereas with Pickett, he's playing corner right off the bat. And I think the upside, you're talking about, top 10 pick if this thing all goes well, because it's just so rare to get these traits.
Without a doubt. LSU fans, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Have you guys covered all spring long with breakout newcomers, transfers, all that good stuff. And then, of course, the portal will be opening up here not too far from now. So we'll have you LSU fans covered all spring long and after that, of course. So